Vamos lá. Good morning, everyone. My name is Margareth Ribas, and this is my friend, Professor Dr. Ariel Gomes. Excuse me, my English, I'm Brazilian. First of all, I would like to thank you for the invitation to participate in this important event. Congratulations to everyone for the organization, especially to Dr. Giovanni Selli and Dr. Moreno Primieri, and no less special, thank you for the architect Jussara Matias and the dear Paola Serchis. I am architect and professor of the architecture course at the Federal University of Mato Grosso do Sul. We are here, me and Professor Dr. Ariel Gomes, as speakers, and there in Todd in person, representing the Federal University of Mato Grosso do Sul, Professor Dr. Gustavo Câncio, responsible for the International Exchange Department, and also with the special participation of our students, Ariel da Cunha, Bárbara Salles, and Pietra Souto. Thank you for coming.
Well, I would like to thank you for the invitation. And today we have the content about Pantanal, its waters, and its cultural heritage. So this is some pictures about Pantanal. You know, Pantanal is beautiful. Pantanal is about biodiversity. We have some symbols of Pantanal, like the puma, we call onça pintada, and tuyuyu. So we want to drive your attention to talk about in 6 points, right? The first one, the Platas River watershed, or Platas Basin, we have two tributaries. The first one, the Pantanal River, and the second, the Paraná River, right? Then we will show you about some problems. You know, we'd like to talk about good things, but we have to talk about the things we have to and fix it, right? So we want to show state of art about hydrological process, fires, and other things we have concern about Pantanal. Then we talk about occupation via the Plata Basin, the cultural heritage, and we want show you some things about preservation proposal, because we have to lead and we need to conservation and restoration some areas of Pantanal. And then the last, we want to conduct for reflection. So now we'd like to show you the principal rivers from south of Brazil. You can see in this picture, right? Now you can see Brasilia is the capital of Brazil. And here in upper position, you have the Pantanal, right? So here is Campo Grande. I am from Campo Grande. Here we can see some rivers flowing in this direction, right? And this is the Paraná Basin, the river Paraná River. And here we can see the Paraguay River. So when Paraná and Paraguay rivers join, we have the Plata River, right? Plata's River. And this territory is Brazil. Here we have Paraguay, Argentina, and Uruguay. Okay, so let's check more info about Paraguay River, because Paraguay River is the main channel, river in Pantanal. The Paraguay River rises in Chapada dos Parecis in Mato Grosso state. Its hydrographic basins cover an area more than 1 million square kilometers, 30% of which is in Brazil, in Mato Grosso and Mato Grosso do Sul state, and the remainder in Argentina, Bolivia, and Paraguay. The region is divided in two main hydrographic areas. We call Planalto, or plateau, with lands above 200 meters in altitude, and the other region is properly Pantanal, which are lands below 200 meters in altitude. with low drainage capacity and subject to major flooding. We can see this polygon, right? This region, irregular polygon. This is the region of flooding in Pantanal, right? Well, Pantanal is considered one of the largest continuous wetlands on the planet. The Pantanal functions as a large reservoir that retains most of the water coming from the plateau and regulates the flows of the Paraguay rivers, right? So this picture is better to see the region we call plateau or planalto. We can see this light green, right? And more in blue, we have the plains. Here we can see an important aspect about the conservation of the Pantanal. So we can see in this map the native vegetation, right? Again, we have Cerrado, like Brazilian savanna, and Pantanal here. Well, Cerrado in Planalto and Pantanal in plains. We had a high conversion, right? Conversion in land use occupation. So we have 60 of vegetation of the plateau in Cerrado converted to pasture or crops. In the plains in Pantanal, we had 20% of lowland converted. So we have a high conservation rate in the last 30 years, and more than 60% in its plateaus have been converted to pasture and agricultural land. In the tails, we can see the blue color, right? The blue color means in this graph the flood frequency. So more blue, more high frequency of flooding, right? In upper basin Paraguay, open Paraguay rivers basin, we can see some springs, relevant springs for the formation of the Pantanal rivers and for climate resilience. And we have to restoration these areas, these springs. So in blue, high heterogeneity and low connectivity, talking in terms of ecological dynamics. For example, we have a timeline about the water, disponibility of water, okay? And we can see from January 2021 to June 2023. We can see in this red circle the tubulation, the tube, flowing water. Almost you don't have water here. And here in 2003, after a project of conservation and restoration in this area, you can see again more flowing of water, right? Okay, this is a project in Miranda. Is a location in Mato Grosso do Sul states, and these beautiful children is indigenous people. Indigenous people is native people here in Brazil. So about this question related to conservation, restoration, to produce more water, right? More frequency of water and security, water security for people. Last years we had some extreme events of precipitation, and we can see in the level of the water in rivers. For example, in Taquari River drier last years, we can see by other side the level of the river, Paraguay River in Ladario. Ladario is one of the most important stage to measurement of the level of the water in Paraguay River, because we have a lot of data there. That starts in 1910. So we can see in this timeline, in this time series, right, the level of the water, or the quantity of water in Pantanal is flowing. Yes, Pantanal was once drier. We can see in 60s, right? But in the conditions of recent anthropogenic change and climate change, to what extent will the Pantanal be resilient? Because we need water, and we need to protect, and we need to restoration to get water security, right? Well, consequently, a declining trend in downstream flooded areas within the Pantanal floodplain was identified. Long-term memory processes were identified in the time series of the Pantanal flood area, and also in the Paraguay River state data, indicate a persistent and aggregate reduction in Pantanal's hydrological variables, adversely affecting its water-dependent ecology and economic activities, such as ranching, fishing, and navigation. Here we can see some tendencies, some trends, right, of the time series of annual rainfall, the first one. The second one, mean annual discharge in cubic meters per second. Then here we have the relationship, like a scatter plot, between discharge in cubic meters per second and annual rainfall in millimeters. And here we see the trend of decline, decreasing the flooded area in square kilometers of water in Pantanal region. Well, we can see the decreasing again, the discharge, the flow in cubic meters per second, right? Well.
Hello, I talk about cultural heritage in Pantanal. This is the Pantanal, where nature, flora, and fauna are exuberant and unique. This biome is home to about 102,000 species of animals, as well as birds and the densest population of jaguar in the world. Around the 15th century, inhabited only by indigenous people, living in harmony with this very special and unique environment. After this century, colonization has marked by the presence of Portuguese and Spanish colonizers. Today, it has a population of approximately 3 million inhabitants, including the indigenous people. So, nature, people, fauna, and flora is Pantanal. The Pantanal also expresses itself with its people in a particular way and with specific and particular habitats, music, and dance. Now, about the occupation and the colonization by the Portuguese and the Spanish by the Plata Basin. Here, we observe that the occupation by the Plata Basin in South America, following the Paraguay River, where the cities, for example, Assunção, in Paraguay, Corumbá, in Mato Grosso do Sul, Poconé, in Cáceres, in Mato Grosso, both in Brazil. The total area of the Pantanal, including the portion in the other countries, is estimated. The total area of the Pantanal, including the portion in other countries, is estimated at the 210,000 square kilometers, with the majority, about 80%, located in Brazil. The remaining 20% is distributed between Paraguay and Bolivia. Now I talk about the comitivas pantaneiras. In Pantanal, the movement of carols are the comitivas pantaneiras, and these are a symbol of local rural culture with rural chronology and adaptation to floods and droughts in the Pantanal. In this way, the practices are linked to carol raising, cowboys, carol herders, beyond maintaining the tradition of their own way of living with music, cuisine, clothing, and oral tradition. Bottom line, simplicity, nature, and community live in harmony. In Pantanal, the presence of indigenous people is true. So currently, the indigenous population of the Pantanal is approximately 14,000 people, belong to various ethnic groups. So Terena, Guató, Cajuel, Bororo, Guarani, Kaiowá, and Guarani Yandeva. And naturally, their ancestral way of living contributes to the miscegenation of indigenous people and the colonizers in the cultural formation of the Pantanal in language, art, agriculture, and spirituality, marking resistance and dialogue with other cultures. I talk about the miscegenation and the people and culture. In this miscegenation, for example, it is possible to identify through drink of indigenous and Paraguayan origin. This is the tereré. Made with erva mate on colder water. Look at the photo, and maybe our students took it for you to try. Currently, tereré is intangible cultural heritage. In Paraguay, tereré is the world heritage. Now, for finishing, I will go into a reflection for this meeting. The Pantanal is a territory of living culture. Culture, heritage is memory, identify, and future. In the tereré circles, and on the way of comitivas pantaneiras, lives the heart of the Pantanal. The Pantanal is an open library where history is read through the gesture, songs, and chronology of the people. The experience and conclusion of this presentation allow a reflection on the importance of sharing and the discussion that this Congress offers. And that, in addition to this reflection, we can establish exchange and partnerships through a single objective: rescue, preserve, and disseminate our cultures regardless of location and the birds. And for the finishing, we go to the phrase of Manuel de Barros, Pantanal poet. In the Pantanal, the others have a voice. They talk to the trees, to the birds, and to the animals on the ground. Water is not just a mirror, it is an ear and mouth, Manuel de Barros. And now we finish the presentation. Thank you very much. And now I give the floor to Professor Dr. Ariel Gomes.
Okay, so it was a pleasure talk to you, and we are available to contact. Please send us email if you have some doubt, and we are here. Thank you.